I'm not. I can't afford to not record.
Welcome to the BYOK Live, where we discuss the trending stories, strangest dilemmas, and real-life topics. Okay now, lovelies, let's get into some things. Hey! It is June 7th.
Yes.
June 7th, and me and Mommy.
I'm still Mommy, no name.
Formerly known as Mommy. We're here for another BYOK 2 Cent. How are you, Mom?
I'm great, Nita. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Loving my braids.
Yes.
Like, feeling myself.
Doesn't she look beautiful?
Feeling myself. You do too.
Thank you. I'm gonna look at the little pump.
How's your week been?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay.
Yes.
You ready to get into this show and talk about relationships?
Let's go.
Yes, but before we get into it, these are things that I always forget. Welcome to the BYOK 2 Cents Live. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit that follow. If you and notification. If you are on Facebook, hit the like. If you are on Fluentradio, welcome. If you're about to head out and can't catch the video version, go to www.fluentradio.com. Is that it? Is that all?
Yeah,
that's all. And if you want to watch the video version, if you're on Fluentradio, go to YouTube and type in BYOK platform. Ready?
I'm ready.
Hey to Mommy. Hey. Thank you, love.
I know, right?
She can't tell me nothing. You ready for the show? Okay, I always like to start off nice and fluffy because it gets a little crazy. So we're gonna start off with what type of relationships? All types: parental, friendships, and romantic. Yeah.
Kinship. Family.
Yes, because I feel like your relationship, that the first relationship that we have is with our parents.
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of shapes the way we like how we play or react in our other relationships. That makes sense?
It makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Great question.
That
Here we go with Sunshine.
Daydream. I fell asleep beneath the flowers.
Although Mommy is not an animal lover per se, she did think this was cute.
I did.
Yes, look at the little cat and the little lamb.
That's cute.
Don't it look soft? Wool is so comfortable. I would want to lay down on that lamb.
I wouldn't want to lay on the lamb, but something made.
I mean, if you were that cat, you might want.
Yeah, if I was the cat, yeah.
Yeah. So I know that was a quick thing, but I just thought that was super cute.
It was.
I know. This was the next one. Talk about living your best life, right? So I'm just minding my own business, and I come across this on Instagram. Like, this is Beyonce, y'all. Look at Beyonce. She's living her best life. I love it. When Beyonce came out with Destiny's Child, it was all about like image and being this certain person. And I think she has reached that point in life where she like, I just am who I am. I'm a mother of 3.
Yep.
You know, I'm just gonna live my best life. So this was everything to me, and I feel like this is encouragement for all of us. We only live once. Let's get it. Like,
really does,
yes, Beyonce. I'm like, is she twerking?
She is. Okay.
Okay, so we'll find something a little more serious.
Kee Kee.
I love Kee Kee. She's been getting it with the baby body. So this is something important she had to say. Now we're gonna get serious.
Hey, you all, I'm looking big. Anyway, I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, a very young, successful person. When I'm saying young, I'm talking like early 20s. That was like, you know, it's so hard for me to find somebody because ain't nobody really on my level. And it's just like, you know, what can I do? And it made me just think about like, I get it. We're in this age where a lot of people, especially in the era of content creation, reality TV, a lot of people are getting successful or making a bag very early on. You know what I mean? And by the way, that doesn't mean that the bag stays. And I hope it does for anybody that's out there getting it. But I think that seeing so many young people get so much so fast makes a lot of people feel like they're behind. And I think that's so unfair because, and guess what? You know, I think it's also obviously celebrity culture and maybe even somebody like myself plays into that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay. I'm about to be 30 this year. But I've been doing this for 20 years. I have
Man,
20
she has
years
been
of
doing this for
experience
a
that's
minute.
granted me the level of success that I have now. So for me to expect that from anybody else in my age group, I think is, or for anybody to expect themselves to be anywhere near where I am without having 20 years of experience in anything, I think is entirely unfair and is a huge disservice.
I agree.
You know, I don't think you should compete with anybody, but you damn sure shouldn't be competing with someone, no matter if they are your same age, in your same age group, in your same lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, if they have 20 years of experience ahead of you. And even still, if somebody seems like they just caught on to it, I think it's important to know that, like, character builds success. Success, unfortunately, does not build character. So just because you have it today does not mean you're going to have it tomorrow. And just because you don't have it today doesn't mean you're going to have it in your future. You know, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves and then we project that onto others. You say, oh, well, I want this and I want that. And if I can't have it, then the person I'm with, we got to have it. Or the friends that I'm hanging with got to have it. Everybody around me ain't got $1 million, then it ain't worth it. But it's like, what about growth?
Right.
Life is not a sprint. It's not a race. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
So it's like, we got to, instead of looking at what somebody's bank account looks like today or what somebody got or they can get us today, we got to look at what somebody's character looking like. Are they responsible? Are they, disciplined? Are they ambitious? Do they have goals? Are they trying to go? Just imagine if Michelle went up to Barack when he was broke out of law school talking about something, can you fly me out? You know what I'm saying? Imagine Denzel's wife coming up to him when he was on the Broadway budget, talking about take me to Mastro's on the weekends. And anybody that's done Broadway knows you ain't there for the check, honey. Okay? Trust me, I know. So it's like, I think we just got to give each other a chance to grow.
Right.
I mean, everybody in their 20s and 30s expecting to be Bill Gates. It could happen, but if it doesn't, you haven't failed. So I think we got to stop putting pressure on ourselves, stop putting pressure on each other. Build friendships and relationships based off of someone's character, the content of their contact. What my man Martin say? The concept of their character. Instead of just looking at what they can give you right now. You know what I mean? I get it. We in this time, but honey, look, that's all.
She will not end it like that. But I love everything she said about that. We put ourselves on the timeline, like we got to have this in this certain age and this at a certain age. And if my friends ain't doing this, and if my friends ain't on this level, then they ain't my friends. And everybody on that level, everybody's climbing. I feel like if you're trying, that's enough for me.
No matter what age you are.
Yes, and it puts a lot of pressure on people too if they're not. And I wonder, like, I know we're not into talking about relationships yet, but I wonder if that plays a factor in a lot of friendships where people reach a certain level at a certain moment, they're like, well, I can't be with this person anymore because I'm beyond them. They're not doing anything, but they're trying. They're just not moving in the same speed as you are, but that doesn't mean that they're not trying.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Everybody flows differently.
Yeah. So, you have anything else to say about what she said?
No, everybody flows differently.
Yes.
She really touched on relationships, but we'll come back on that later.
Yes, I love that. I love you. Ready for the first? That's it for Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
You ready for the first commercial?
Yes.
All right, here we go, Miss Michi.
Y'all, it's your girl, Miss Michi, checking in with my girl, Renita from Be Your Own Kind. You know that's my sis. Make sure that you tune in every Thursday to the Blueprint Live at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. And then you can catch me on Fluentradio, Philly Jams 95.3, Indie 101.5, and Mixed Talk Media. And I'm available anywhere that you listen to podcasts, okay, and your radio shows. So get on it, okay? Let's do this. I love to connect with you and promote what you got going on. Let's get it. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the Blueprint Live, visit thebpmediaco.com today.
Love it, love it. I love when she say what you got going on. Make sure you follow my partner at Miss Michi, and make sure you catch her show tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook at the Blueprint Live. No, Blueprint. What is it? The Blueprint Live. Yeah. Oh my God, it's the Blueprint Live, right? Yeah. Yes, hashtag Blueprint Live. Oh God, the Blueprint Live.
The Blueprint Live.
Right. Y'all having a good time? I need to wake up. Here's Mom's favorite. You ready for Kiwi Rima?
Oh no, just sit there.
Here June is Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
And so we are celebrating with the Pride community this month. And so I wanted to bring this up in lieu of Pride month because Tyler James Williams was a little disheartened, not by the fact that people were saying that he was gay, was just the fact of why is that a conversation. And so I felt like I wanted to read what he wrote, because it was so eloquent the way he said it. So he says, usually I wouldn't address stuff like this, but I feel like it as a conversation is bigger than me. I'm not gay, but I think the culture of trying to find some kind of hidden trait or behavior that a closeted person lets slip is very dangerous. Overanalyzing someone's behavior in an attempt to catch them directly contributes to the anxiety a lot of queer and queer questioning people feel when they fear living in their truth. It makes the most pedestrian of conversations and interactions in spaces feel less safe for our gay brothers and sisters and those who may be questioning. It also reinforces an archetype many straight men have to live under that is oftentimes unrealistic, less free, and limits individual expression. I've been very clear about the intentionality, and I try to put into using my platform to push back against those archetypes every chance that I get. Being straight doesn't look one way. Being gay doesn't look one way. And what may seem like harmless fun and conversation may actually be sending a dangerous message to those struggling with real issues. I refuse to inadvertently contribute to that message. Happy Pride to all of my queer and questioning brothers, sisters, and individuals. I pray that you feel seen in ways that make you feel safe in the celebration that is this month. As an ally, I continue to be committed to assisting in that where I can and help to cultivate a future where we are all accepted and given permission to be ourselves.
Very eloquent.
And I didn't even have anything to say after that, like even the comment, because I feel like it's already enough to come out of the closet. It's already enough to struggle, with telling your parents and being ostracized, just for someone to put that pressure and be like, oh, well, you acting too feminine or you acting too masculine. Why can't we just let people be and give them the space if they want to share it, or they may not be, either the case.
Right.
Don't put that added pressure.
It's their choice.
It's their choice. And so I felt like that was amazingly put.
Yeah, that was very
eloquent. Very eloquent. So we love him. I know him as Everybody Hates Chris. And
Me
also,
too, yeah.
I don't know if you watch Abbott Elementary.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
the other teacher.
The other teacher, yeah.
He's the love interest.
Yes.
So yeah, I love him, and everything he says is amazing. So let's get to the next. You ready? This is just for you because I need to do a wow factor for you. So the 120-year-old virgin,
123.
still holding out hope that she will find a man one day. So let's hear what she has to say.
Untouched by intimacy and covered in wrinkles, Teresia has never seen the nakedness of a man, and for 122 years, she lives on with the unfulfilled desire, a defiant hope, and a courageous spirit of waiting that one day a man will emerge and embrace her soul. This woman here is 123 years old, and yes, she had never spent a night with the company of a man.
mbega nanjye mwantera inkunga ako kagabo mukakambonera. We nitwa Teresia Nyirakajumba.
So she's still looking for the love of her life.
I'm with it.
She's waiting for the love. 123 years.
Nah.
So let's granted say 23 years, because I mean she was a kid for what, first 18, 19, 20. So essentially 100 years, 102 years waiting on love. Do you commend her for her commitment?
I commend her for her commitment.
But I'm wondering I'm also wondering if that was such a lonely life too.
That had to be a lonely life. I'm just saying. I won't go any further with that.
Okay.
But I am a romantic and a love exists type of person. So I believe in love.
You believe in love? I feel like hold on. change is coming. But she says the older that she's getting, the harder it is for her to attract a man. And her house is falling apart, and she's just so lonely.
She's 120.
She just never found anybody that
well,
she
one thing for sure,
with.
she didn't settle. Mom. I'm just saying. She didn't settle.
She didn't, but I wonder how lonely of a life that was. For her to never have children or anything.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So dedication.
Yeah, that's
dedication waiting on the one. But the reason why she said she held out so long was because it was her family beliefs too. Like,
right.
Yeah. So
right.
yeah. So
she didn't want to go against the grain.
So a couple of weeks back, we were praising Martha Stewart because she was getting it in Sports Illustrated. Now she done pissed off everybody by saying that she doubled down for saying that U.S. is going to go down the drain if we continue with this remote work mentality or whatever. So let's get into what Miss Stewart has to say. Because she ain't Martha right now.
Known for your work ethic, among many other things. And you recently talked a little bit about the returning to work situation here.
I'm having this argument with so many people these days. It's just that my kind of work is very creative and it is very collaborative. Yeah. And I cannot really stomach another Zoom, Zoom here, Zoom there. It just doesn't get the work done in the right way. So meeting in person, coming to the office, I hate going to an office that's empty. Mm-hmm. I don't want to. During COVID, I took every precaution. We really set up office at home, at my home, and did so many things. And everybody came to work. And now we're our office is on a 3-day work week. And I just don't agree with it.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Some people say it's here to stay. Like,
well, here's the thing. You have to look at her generation too and her age. Remote wasn't a thing, and her field is crafts and dinner parties and stuff like that. Like it's
interactive.
You can't do what she does remotely. So I can see why she's irritated with that, but to compare what she does to the whole workforce,
it's not fair.
Some things can legit be done at home
and better.
It is much better because it's better, concentration. Now I do get the social aspect of it because I do get lonely at times. However, I do get a lot done too.
Yeah, and you're still interacting with people, just not personally. When you're on Zoom, you're interacting. You're just not personally where you could feel out, reach out and touch that person.
Right,
but
exactly.
It's still an interaction.
But some people need that interaction, that face to face. So
and obviously she's one of them.
Yeah, she's really irritated. So I understand her pain because I felt like that at first when everybody was like, "Well, what's your problem?" And it's like because I need to be around some people. So
right,
yeah. So
it could become, I guess, kind of lonely if you're used to being around people all the time, especially in her.
Yeah, in her field or whatever. So yeah. All right, you ready for another commercial?
Yes.
All right. Join me, Be Your Own Kind, and CB3S Designs at the 3rd annual Black Wallstreet Juneteenth event on Saturday, June 17th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. located on 140 Addison Avenue in Franklin Park. See you there. Love that. So we're gonna be somewhere together.
Yes.
We're just collabing all year. I love it. So we're gonna be in Franklin Park, which is kind of far, isn't it?
I haven't Googled it.
Chicago?
I don't know. We have to Google it.
I don't know, but we'll be there. We hope that you hop in
far.
your cars and see us. We're going to be vending our items.
Yes.
Mom, tell them about CB3S Designs.
CBS3 Designs. I create 11 by 17 images, custom images. I mean, from whatever you like, from sports to music to whatever, framed and unframed, laminated. And I'm also on Etsy. So it's like, just be your own kind with my images because whatever you like, I can create it for you. I can do that for you.
Dopeness. And I just sell a whole bunch of potluck things that have all the feels on it and encouragement and positivity. I am like a real life Care Bear. I care.
Yes. Inspirational. She has a lot of inspiration.
That's the word.
Inspirational.
Are you ready? The news has been really, really, really quiet this week, so that's why everything is so mild.
Yeah.
So you deserve a mild week, though.
Everybody does.
They do.
Yeah.
So you ready for what's the 411? Because that's pretty mild too.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I gotta go and
Okay. So this is what I was telling you earlier. But Mom likes to be surprised, even though I'll try to tell her in advance. Pastor Anthony feels like the Chicago mayor should declare violence a public health crisis. I want to know your thoughts on that before we read this. Do you feel like the violence in Chicago should be considered a public health crisis?
A public health crisis?
Yes, because people are suffering and getting hurt.
Yeah, I think it should be declared traumatic because people are just traumatized by all this violence that's going on in the city. Health, I don't know. Let me see what she's saying.
So he's Pastor Anthony Williams and other activists, courtesy of Fox 32, by the way. Pastor Anthony Williams and other activists gathered outside City Hall on Tuesday, urging Mayor Brandon Johnson to sign an executive order declaring violence a public health crisis in the city. He emphasized the need for a comprehensive city plan of civility to address the pressing issue.
Okay.
He says, and none of us are safe. We have no future. Our children have no future until we address this disease. It is a disease. The CDC says violence is a public health crisis. The medical community says it's a disease, but it's not a contagion.
But it is.
But it is, yeah. So according to him, implementing an executive order similar to the state's health reform bill will provide additional resources and tools to effectively combat violence in Chicago. My only issue is you can't make a vaccine and poke it at everyone and be like, now you're non-violent. It's a change of culture, which actually takes time.
Yeah. And also, it's just not, it's like they always doing things in Chicago for us to set the example for other cities. You know, this is nationwide. We are not the only city. Every major city in this country is dealing with the same thing. We just don't hear about it because they're not our local news.
Exactly.
So it is an epidemic, but it's not just here in Chicago. So if they're gonna do an executive order, it should be a national executive order where it would be totally effective for all people, not just in one city, but all people, because everybody's being affected by this. Even if you haven't been directed personally, it is personal when another mother loses a child or a wife loses a husband loses a wife to violence. It should affect us all.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the the lateral thing that they're doing because the contagion, the epidemic affected us all, but it did it nationwide. Didn't just do it here in Chicago. That's my only thing. If we're gonna do something, let's do it nationwide. Let's just not limit it to just one city. Because we're not the only ones being affected.
We weren't the only ones that had Memorial Day shootings, but we're the only ones that made national news.
We're the only ones that make national news.
So yeah.
But we're not the only ones that is going through. We have relatives who tell us this, in other cities.
Right. And they don't want to do a state of emergency because the last thing we want is the National Guard to get involved.
Right.
Because now we all on punishment.
We all on punishment.
And a lot of lives will be, shed on that as well. So what we need to do is band together and pray. And change the trajectory.
And the gun laws. That would help a whole lot of reasons. If they would just naturally change the gun laws, maybe that would, be a spiral effect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And open up more youth programs where we were saying things that
let them do something.
Let them do something, because now it's a lot of idleness going along because we don't have the after school. We don't have a lot of facilities where, like it used to be, where they go play, where children go and young guys or whatever go play basketball and have the mentorship programs and that sort of thing. And since a lot of that is not in place, that lets off steam and that lets off anger. Sports and crafting and all that, whatever, that energy is transmitted, that negative is transmitted to something positive. But if you don't have any place to go to transform the negative to positive, then you're going to stay right there where you are in the negative.
I agree.
That's how I feel.
I agree. I think you need to call Pastor Williams.
No, I'm okay.
Speaking of senseless violence, I know that news was really, really slow because I try to avoid this subject at all costs. I don't know if you are familiar with the Megan Thee Stallion shooting with Tory Lanez. I don't know if you know that he's convicted. He tried to overturn it, couldn't. So now he could be possibly facing 13 years behind bars.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, there is a split between what happened. Here's the thing, we weren't there.
Right.
And I feel like I've went through so many theories because this happened like in 2020 or whatever. And it's senseless because no one should have been outside in the first place. That's an old grandma response. But they were, and someone got hurt off of something so minuscule. Yeah. And it's gonna cost somebody possibly 13 years away from his family because of something so minuscule. So I don't really want to read all of this. Yeah, but it's very unfortunate because he has children and his career was on the rise. And I think he'll be extradited because he's not American. He's Canadian. Okay, so it's just gonna affect him all the way around or whatever. And it's like, and then the other hand of it is it affected her. Yeah. She's not the same. She has trauma, and then she has to deal with the fact of nobody believing her.
Right.
She had to literally show like pictures of scars and bullet fragments and this and that to even get people to believe her. So it was like she was the victim getting more victimized. Yeah. And now that's a stain on her. No matter what she tries to do in her career, she'll be forever attached to this. Yeah. And so it's just
that's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for both of them. You know what I'm saying? But more so, I mean, it's trauma all the way around or whatever. All because of two friends sleeping with the same guy.
Yeah.
Which we could get into that with sisterhood because I want to get into some of that with you, the code, because I think that the friendship code has been lost through generations. And I know back in the day,
I have the code.
Back in the day, y'all had solid codes that y'all did not cross. I almost want to skip this and get into the main topic. You want to do a commercial and get into the main topic?
Yes.
All right, let's get into the main topic.
Yes.
Let's do this commercial that disappeared. We'll just do my commercial and then I'll get the other commercial going. We'll be right back. Welcome to season 5 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, where we interview individuals that are basking in the lane they have created. To keep up with all things BYOK, welcome to season 5 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, where we interview individuals that are basking in the lane they have created. To keep up with all things BYOK. I don't know what's going on with that. Can you guys hear it? Can you hear me? Wait a minute. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, let me try one more time. Welcome to season 5 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, where we interview individuals that are basking. Let that go because I don't know what's going on with that.
Technical
difficulties. Technology. 1 second. Let me see if I can find the other commercial. But you could just start talking. Give us some. What were the top? I know it was a million, but give us the top 1 to 5 or 1 to 3, whatever you can remember of the sister code. While I'm looking for this next commercial.
The sister code. If you go out together, you come home together.
Okay.
Sister code was you did not mess with your friend's boyfriend, significant other, someone they were interested in, none of that.
What if you got married and it was somebody that somebody dated prior?
We didn't do that.
You still
we
that's
stayed away.
You see this stuff on TV now where
but no, first of all, sister code, whether that is your type or not, that is not your type. If he's your type, he's not your type because that's your friend's boyfriend, significant other, husband, whatever. Cousins, we didn't even do relatives. A lot of times you don't date your friends, cousins, brothers. We didn't even do a lot of that. When you break up with these people, you do not date that person.
Even if your friend has gotten married and moved on and not even thinking about that person. Once that friend dates it, it's off.
That person is off limits. Forever.
Have you been? I don't know if you follow any of the
I see all this stuff going
on. Where friends is dating others, and
then the brother husbands and all this kind of stuff. But that's different. But no, it's a code. Those are the 3 top codes. You just don't. They're off limits. You don't mess with that dude. You don't mess with that guy. You don't. You just don't. You just don't. It's just you just don't. It's a gift. You just don't mess with him. I don't care how fine he is. I don't care none of that. He is off limits during the relationship and after the relationship. You don't date him. You don't put yourself in situations where it even look like it could be a situation where something is going on. You just don't do it. Go find your own man. And
what if you catch the guy with somebody else? Do you tell your sister?
Yes.
What if she don't believe you?
Then that's on her. It's off me.
So that's not a code to believe your sister when she's saying that the man is going out.
You should believe, but if she doesn't believe it, it's off for you. You told the truth. I'm not gonna be sitting up in your face knowing I saw. And a lot of people might disagree with me because this has been no, I'm not. If you're my friend and you see my husband out with another woman, you're not gonna tell me. But then we kicking it every weekend. We going out. We at each other's house with the kids, or even we don't have kids, and we eating together and partying together. And you know this information, you don't tell me. And then down the line, somebody say, no. And then you say, oh yeah, because 7 years ago, I saw him out. No, boo-boo, 7 years ago is when you were supposed to tell me. You broke the code.
Here's another thing. What if, I got all the questions. What if so you're with the guy forever and then you break up, but now he has made friends with all of your friends. Is it sister code to continue to talk to this person even though y'all broken up?
No, it's leave him alone.
Really? So even if you've been together for a long time and they've created their own relationship with your friends, it is against sister code to continue to converse with this person.
Because your sister was the commonality. You wouldn't have known him if it had not been for her. Family is different. Now, if you want to, if you have made friends within the family, like sisters or brothers or children or whatever, okay. But friends, no.
But friends are like family. So why would it be okay for family but not for friends? No. Man, y'all had a tough one, boy. There's some good questions. I think we want to go to commercial. You a break?
Yeah. You just don't do it.
I know. Here we go. We're gonna try this again.
The members only car club. Where my members only car club members at? Show some love right now. That's what it's all about, guys.
Hey guys, this is Lady Fluent here, and I wanted to remind you all to save the date for Saturday, August the 12th, 2023, where we will be hosting and broadcasting live from our third annual car show featuring the Members Only Car Club that will be held in Crestwood, Illinois. The event will take place in the parking lot of At the Office Bar and Grill on Calsac Road, just west of Cicero Avenue. Registration will begin at 9 to 12 p.m. and will be $20 for motorcycles and $25 per car. This event is free for spectators and will have 10 categories, including 2 Best of Show awards, Best Club Participation, and the Kids' Choice Award. And yes, we will also be hosting our fundraiser again. This year, we are going to be partnering with Dr. Keisha Roberts-Tabb for our fundraising efforts, in which proceeds of the event will be donated to the RTA Group for the 2024 Girls Night Out Rally in support of human trafficking awareness. The RTA Group is dedicated to bringing awareness to human trafficking through training, evaluation, coaching, and counseling to ensure that vulnerable populations are afforded the best care and treatment possible without violating their dignity and safety. Fluent Radio is proud to become sponsors of the 2024 Girls Night Out Rally, which will take place on January 12, 2024. For more information on the RTA Group, human and sex trafficking, or Dr. Keisha Roberts-Tabb, please visit www.drkeisharobertstabb.com. So drop on by Saturday, August the 12th. Enjoy yourself and tell a friend. Contact us via email for any additional questions at pr.fluentradio889@gmail.com or online at www.fluentradio.com. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. Save the day.
We're just going to be moving around.
Yes, we're going to be all over the place.
Yes.
All over the place. Okay, we already started the main topic.
Hey, lovelies. Now it's time for the topic of the night.
Now I know that we're supposed to end at sisterhood, but let's start there. So I feel like most of the misunderstandings in any relationship, no matter what it is communication.
Yes.
And so I feel like if rules or boundaries are not established at the beginning of any relationship, it's just plain. I'm not gonna say it's gonna fail, but it's gonna be rocky.
Mm-hmm. It's
gonna be rocky. So I feel like friends like you, where you guys have been friends for like 20, 40, whatever years, is because it was an ingrained sister code that no one
we didn't break it.
Broke.
And the ones that broke it are no longer you swimming with the fishes.
I just kind of feel that leaves no one to make a mistake though. Like,
no, you can make mistakes, but just don't make the main mistake and break the code.
Man, that's serious. And so
you can make mistakes along the way, but if you make mistakes, be accountable for that mistake. Say, girl, so and I talk, and I shouldn't have did that. Hey, I didn't mean it like that. Whatever. Be accountable. When it becomes against the code is when you don't say anything. When you just act like it ain't happened.
Yeah, that's true. And so we're gonna go backwards because sisterhood is important to me because I have a group of friends that I've known forever. I have one friend like I've known since maybe I was like 10, 11 years old.
10, 11
then
years
some
old.
people, then Ash, I think high school, Asha Lenny, high school, couple people high school, and then I have my college friends. And I feel like even through the ups and downs or whatever, friendship here, because I'm just thinking of guy friends too. I feel like we still maintain that sisterhood, like or that brother sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? So the importance of it to me is community. Like a family outside of your family, because you guys are literally like growing together.
Right.
So is that how you feel about friendship?
Yeah, because I have friends from grammar school. I have friends for over 50 something years. I have one friend, her and I are friends for over 50 years. I have friends, Gerald, Renee is my friend for over 50 years, and I have my high school friends. That's a long time too, at over 40, 30 years or whatever. So yeah, we maintain those friendships. You know why? Not because we didn't have ups and downs, not because we didn't have disagreements, not because we didn't understand each other. It was because we realized that we had to work at these relationships and we stayed within the codes.
But here's the thing, like when you make friends with people like grammar school, high school, college, do you even know the extent of friendship or what it really means to be a friend? So I feel like the older you get, the more that you learn the real importance of friendship, right? At first, it's somebody to hang out with, somebody to be your diary, keep your secrets, things of that sort. But then the older you get and life start lifing, it's less about that spending time, but more about having that person. You do spend time with them, but it's more so having that safe space.
Yeah.
I feel like the older that you get, it's about that safe space. And I feel like even if, because I've fallen out with some friends, but we have managed to come back together but we had to come back with honesty and communication.
That's it.
And I feel like that's the important thing with any relationship. And so that's why I wanted to essentially start with parental relationships, because I feel like they shape how we start off in our relationships, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So the question is, how have they shaped your behaviors in your current relationships? Like what? Like I feel like because I was raised with baby boomers, you guys were taught be seen, not heard.
Okay.
And so when you grow up, be seen, not heard, it kind of makes you not want to speak up. I think I had this conversation with a group of girls where we felt like we didn't have a voice growing up because we were taught that children were seen and not heard.
Okay.
And so part of people that go with the flow was probably people that were told to be seen and not heard, and they didn't speak up. And then I'm the type of person that'll boil over because I didn't say nothing in the beginning. So I feel like not communicating and not being open about how I feel caused a lot of disruptions in my marriage and my friendships. Even with my biological sisters, my friend sisters, because I just never articulated myself until I got older.
Yeah, I can understand that, because I can relate to that because I was raised by old school parents. Obviously, mom 40 when she had me, my dad 50. So that was kids. You didn't have a presence when you were around adults. It's like you be seen at her. You don't even be seen. You go in the other room. You don't even be around or sit around, and that I think attributed to me end up being an extrovert because when I finally had a platform, it was just a throw up because I never, had a chance to really articulate how I felt. I could do it more with my dad than my mom because my dad, he was kind of like, the one that would kind of like listen and kind of see what you were saying. My mother was kind of like, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be. And then, she moved a different way. Didn't make it wrong, didn't make it right. They just moved a different way. So I really feel that way. And I understand because you've expressed that to me, that because I, in essence, did that to you, it was like you felt you didn't have a voice, hence BYOK, that you didn't have a voice. But it was like you mimic what you're taught.
Right.
That was the only thing that was how I was raised.
Right,
and so you figured that's the right thing to do. And then as you and Chris started getting older, I realized that you do have a voice, but it's how you all were able to come to me in a respectable way and say, look, Mom, I had this issue, no. And then I had to open myself up to listen and be open and not be judgmental. Right. See, I grew up with older parents. I mean, like 40, 50 years older than me. And, you really didn't have an opinion. It's like, they were the parents of you. But with you guys, I did it a little bit different because I knew how that felt not to have a voice. I want you all to have a voice, but, keep it in the parent, child or whatever respect. And that's why we have the relationship we have. And that's why Chris and I have the relationship we have, because I allowed you all to come to me with things, to feel comfortable. That's it. It's a comfortability. I didn't feel comfortable going to my parents with certain things because those things were taboo. You didn't talk about certain things with them because, first of all, why are you even thinking about that at your age? You know what I'm saying? So you didn't talk about it. You didn't. It's like, you talk to your friends, hence sisterhood, friends. You all created your own community because you couldn't talk at home.
Right.
Hence why I have friends for 50-something years, because we became our own community, because that was the only way we could express how we felt about things that was going on.
Exactly. Hey, cuz she says we were limited on expressing yourself, so people become passive.
Yeah,
exactly. And so when you're taught, hey, you have a voice, and it's just like, and I feel like with my sister, because mom did different with the second kid, because the first kid is the guinea pig,
Yeah.
And so, no, it's no thing, because what I love is when you realized that you gave me a voice, but it was later on. But Kristen started off.
She did
with the voice, and so she openly articulates herself. And sometimes I still will just stay shut. My mouth will still stay shut, even if I don't agree with it, even if I'm feeling away. And I think that starts off with how we're reared up, even asking for help. I always feel like married parents and single parents, the kids turn out a little bit different, because single people who I've noticed who are raised by single parents have a hard time asking for help. Yeah. Because they watch their parents do it, their mom or single dad, whatever, do it themselves.
Right. Yeah. And I've been both.
Right.
I've been single and married. So you
were raised by married.
I was raised by married, but that wasn't my story. I was married, then single.
No, I'm saying both your parents were married. So how were you with asking for help and having a voice, having two parents? Not having a voice, but you already said that. But like asking for help.
I didn't.
So what stopped you from asking for help?
Because they never asked for help. I always saw them functioning the way they function. They went to work. We had what we had. We always had food. We always had shelter. We had clothes, and they didn't act it to. I don't know if they did or not, but I never seen them ask for help. All I saw of them was move in their routine, and everything fell in place. So when I became married, I thought that how it was. But then when the first time I had to be a single mom, I knew that that's not how it was, because I couldn't do everything by myself. No matter how hard I tried, I had to solicit help. And that was very, very hard for me because I didn't even have a beginning point of how to start to ask for help.
And so how did that affect your marriages?
It affected my marriages because I always went in with this INDEPE. I was always this independent because I always saw my mother be this independent. My dad was there until death did them part, but my mom always had an independent spirit about herself that I always felt if she didn't have daddy, we'd be okay. Not as okay, maybe, but we would be okay because she always, it's again how they moved.
She also was in charge of all of her siblings.
Yes, and she was in charge of her siblings. So it was like, dang, she doing super mom. You know what I'm saying? So when I had to ask for help, it was very uncomfortable for me. And it became more uncomfortable the more I had to ask for it. I had to grow into asking for help and not being an island.
And I agree with that. Because when I first was married, I feel like my husband was like, what am I here for? Because I wouldn't ask for help and I would want to do everything on my own because I emulated you. I'm like, I don't even know, my mama got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll catch you later. And I had to learn that marriage was teamwork.
Teamwork. Exactly.
It was teamwork. It wasn't, I don't have to struggle by myself because I have this whole able-bodied person sitting next to me, like waiting for me to need him.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Or for us to work together and do things. And so I found that that has helped me learn how to ask for help and even see the importance of community of family and friends and things like that. Like I think we had just seen a video I posted, like you need people. You know what I'm saying? And it took me and granted, I was by myself for 12 years too before my sister came. And so I was used to being alone. You know what I'm saying? I was used to building an island and being there to myself. And so I also had to snap out of that and say, oh, okay, there are other people around me. You know? So I feel like that growing up in the relationship, with me growing up in my relationship with my parents, that's how it kind of emulated into my other relationships, essentially. You know?
And now that I look back, I think my mom did have a community. She had friends. She had the two Marys really were her friends. And I'm sure that they helped each other out, but they never showed it.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. The older generation, they never showed it. And I'm sure they had to help each other out, like at Christmas time and with the kids and things like that, even with them being married, or because Mary Pride was not married. Her husband had died and she never remarried. But Mama and Mary Lau were remarried again first they were married to brothers and then they remarried. And so their dynamic was, all three of them was like these independent women that never asked for help. But it was the behind the scenes.
That's what we don't see.
And like with you all didn't see the behind the scenes.
Right, exactly.
And we never saw the behind the scenes because our parents, it was no such thing. We didn't even realize it was behind the scenes until we got to our own relationship.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I was growing up, I'm like, how did she do this?
Yeah.
And then I came to you one day, and I think when your children get older, it does transition to a friendship because you've done the raising, right? And I'm like, Mom, how did you make this look so easy? And then when she's telling me all the background stuff, I'm like, oh, because kids only emulate what they see. We don't see the background.
We don't see the background.
And so we grow up with these false conceptions like, well, I'm strong. My mama didn't need nobody, so I don't need nobody. And really, she had a whole village that we didn't even know about.
It's the perception. It's the perception what we perceive because kind of, sort of, I don't know what to say. I never wanted to appear like I was weak and couldn't take care of you because I didn't have a husband. You understand what I'm saying? Or a man or whatever. So my exterior probably to you was like Superwoman.
Yeah, it was.
And then at night I'm laying in the bed like, oh my God.
I didn't see that. I was asleep.
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Are we going to eat tomorrow? Am I going to be able to pay this rent? Because at one time I was working temp. I didn't even have a permanent job. A lot of your growing up with you, I worked temp. With Chris, I always had a permanent job.
That's true.
But with you, I was working for Kelly and all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all understand? Y'all hear me out there? I was working for temp, short term, long term, but it was tip. It wasn't no insurance. It wasn't none of that. So I'm like, oh my God, please don't let her get sick. Because we got to go down here and sit on 63rd Street all day long. We got to go to the county or whatever. We ain't got no insurance. But you ain't need to know all that because you were a child. All you need to know that you were going to eat, have clothes, have a roof on your head. That wasn't your concern. That was for me to figure out. So to you, I was like, yeah, I got this. But at night, oh my God, Lord Jesus, this is when I really learned how to pray. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, when I go put this card in there, please make it work. You know, Jesus, 2 days before payday. Okay, let me try to make this stretch. Hence, you had hot dogs and she loved it though. Hot dogs. But see,
you made everything fun. I never knew it was a struggle. I'm like, my mom makes every day is like Disney World. Like I never. So when I got older, I'm like, I got this adult thing. You know what I'm saying? And then I started the older. I think I came here like 24. Like, how did you do this? Like this sucks.
And I'm like, yeah.
So I thank you for not letting me see the struggle, but I really thought adulting was really easy.
Yeah.
And so that kind of segues into romantic relationships, the struggle of falling in love again, or even keeping it interesting if you are in a relationship or a marriage. Like those are two struggles in romantic relationships for me. And so I think I kind of touched up on that loner type of mentality and whatever. So I had to learn that, but I also have to learn that Derek didn't fall in love with the same person he did at 14, and I didn't fall in the same. We are constantly evolving. So it's almost like you have to do a check-in and fall in love with this new person who's it's the same person, but it's a new person. Yeah. Am I making sense?
Yeah, it's a transformed person.
Yeah,
so you always got to stay up with them, their needs, their wants, what their expectations.
Or even if your interests or your path still align. Right. Like if our goals are still aligned.
Right. Are we still, we talked about this 5 years ago. Are we still here?
Yeah.
Okay, it seemed like you someplace else, and it seemed like I'm someplace else. And that's where communication comes in.
I love it.
Communication is key. And I don't regret being married and then divorced. I don't regret it. You can't regret things in life. And if I would have did anything different, because if I would have did anything different, it wouldn't have be building me into who I am becoming now. But if I had something that I would change, it would have been more effective communication.
Effective communication.
Mm-hmm. It would have been that, because I look back and I'm like, because you have to hold yourself accountable, you guys, when you break up. It ain't just them, it's you too. If I could have said that a little bit differently. If I could express that another way,
a lot of divorces come from miscommunication, and then they divorce and they meet up and have conversation. They're like, dang, well, why didn't you tell me?
Exactly. That has happened to me all 3 times. Why didn't you just tell me? Or either they'll say that and I'll say, well, why didn't you just tell me? Or they say, why didn't you just tell me? Or they will say, it's not your fault, it was me. And then I had to correct all 3 of them and say, no. That's what I used to think. But now knowing better, it wasn't just you. It was me too. So don't be carrying that burden all along, brother. It was me too. I had some accountability in us signing them divorce papers. It wasn't just you.
So let's talk about the struggle of falling in love again, if you even have one.
She seems to think that I can just roll on it.
Well, like Cher says, do you believe in love after love?
I do.
You do? And do you have any struggles? Do you carry some, I don't know, some energy or emotions from the last dealing into, like, how do you?
I carry lessons learned.
Lessons learned.
And unlearned lessons from previous.
So how do you allow yourself to love again so easily?
It's not easy.
See, you make it look easy. So what's the process?
The process is you can't compare one relationship with another. Mm-hmm. You can't compare the next person with the last person. Because when you do that, you already are dooming the relationship.
Right.
You can't say, well, he used to do this, or he used to do that, he used to wear this cologne, and that cologne you wear stink or whatever. It's adaptability. You have to learn how to love your next love for who they are, not who you want them to be, not who you think they should be, or what you think they're going to evolve into. You got to love them exactly for who they are. You can't compare. When you start that comparing, you set yourself up for failure, because it's always going to be something missing. You're going to feel that there's something missing. And that was a learn. I didn't know this always.
Okay, that was a learn thing.
This was a learned thing, because in the beginning, when I was divorcing, I was taking one relationship over to the next, and what I ain't gonna do, what I ain't gonna tolerate, what I ain't gonna have. He better do this. We ain't gonna be together, because I'm not gonna, you know. And that was a no, because they know you compare. They may not say anything, but they know that you're comparing them, and that's not fair to them.
Yeah,
that's not fair to them. They're trying in a whole new relationship here with you, and here you are over here comparing them with somebody who is also in another relationship, ain't thinking and studying about you, and you still holding on to what didn't work in that relationship and bring it over here, and you already got a negative, because you already saying, if this don't, then I'm not. If he can't, I won't. That's not fair to the new person.
That's true. I feel like that goes with all relationships.
That's all relationships.
Even with jobs, because I feel like we didn't touch upon this, but you're with your coworker longer than you with anybody, relationship, friendship, whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can't even take the attitudes that you have from a previous job to a new one.
You can't.
Because I feel like you just got to give people chances when you are presented in new environments or around new people.
But here's the thing. Now that I know that, but here's the but. When you see what you see, and you haven't compared it, but you see what you see, then really see it. Don't act like you don't see it. Then that becomes a problem, because now you're in an imaginary relationship.
Yeah, you ignore what we call the
red flags. When you ignore the flags, then now you are doing an injustice to the other person as well as yourself, because first of all, you're not communicating effectively, and you really kind of like being fake and phony with a person when you see things, and I tell them whether they, but you know what I'm saying, but when you see it, you got to address it. Whether they accept what you're saying or not, that's different. You have to address the red flags. You have to address them, because if not, then you can't really move any further in this relationship, because it's always that doubt and that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Anything else about relationships?
Girl, we can go on, because you don't let me stop right here. But I'm just saying, communication and honesty and trust and all that, and not comparing. That's really the big factors to me.
Communication, set boundaries.
Be true to yourself.
Have a code with everybody. Have a marriage code. Have a sister code.
Have a sister code.
Coworker code.
A coworker. I mean,
even a parent. I feel like
parent.
Boundaries with your parents are important, or with your children too.
Right.
Because some parents are still like enabling their kids and not allowing them to grow up. So it's a boundary both ways.
I did that too.
It's a boundaries in both ways. So
I sheltered both of my daughters, and I didn't allow them to be free in their own selves. And once I let them go, I was scared they weren't going to be able to fly. I'm not like the eagle who throw you out the nest.
Birds don't play that.
Birds don't play. It's like, look, you gonna fly, because I got things.
Animals do that. Animals let their kids go.
Animals let their kids go. We're the only species, I do believe, that don't. But once I let my daughters go to find and explore who they really were, not what I wanted them to be or not what I expected them to be. Sometimes we lock our kids in and they don't feel free to flow into themselves. I would like to
correct you there, because I always felt like you allow me to be who I am.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I want to just interject and just make that clear.
Okay.
I feel like I always say this, that I was very different. I don't want to get teary-eyed, and I didn't make a lot of friends because I felt I would have that lone syndrome or whatever. I didn't feel good enough. When I came home, you were sitting there and you would ask me about my day. You know what I'm saying? And I love that because that's the only time. Sometimes when I walked in that house, you were the first person that addressed me for the entire day. So you've always been like my friend. And so when I meant earlier about voice, I meant my opinion. No, you're gonna eat this, you're gonna eat this, you're gonna do this.
I ain't doing all that
like
cooking.
That's old school, but I'm talking about like hearing me out and just hearing about my day. You were sometimes the only person that asked me about my day. And so I can't sit here and just let you say that. Like, I feel like you've always embraced who I was because you knew I was different. You knew that I wasn't the most social. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I love you for that.
Thank you. Well, I stand corrected.
So Fluent Radio, I caught you this time. We have 9 more seconds. You could have been tuning in anywhere, but you decided to tune in with us, and we love you, and we'll see you next week.
Next week, Fluent Radio.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
And so, we got him this time.
So, I'm glad she said that because I always...
You always are so hard on yourself.
Yeah, because you know what, you guys, because I didn't have a voice, and I always felt that I wasn't seen, lesser known, heard. When I always had, like, promised myself, when I had my own children, I was going to allow them to have their voice. I was going to, you know what I'm saying? I was going to still do you got to do this. You know, I was still going to be a disciplinarian.
But Mom, I feel your feeling now. Talking about your feelings, that was the line.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to do what I say.
Yeah, you'll do it.
But I'm saying, knowing about my day, knowing what my friends,
that was
what was they going to do? So I don't know if I said it wrong earlier about not having a voice. I meant like not speaking up because it was the old school with both you and my dad.
We was old school.
Look, these are the rules. I don't care. Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. But when it came to me having problems and things like that, y'all didn't shun me away. Even if y'all didn't understand, y'all still listened to me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like speaking up for myself was a harder thing because y'all was like, chill out. You know, it was still a government, you know, within y'all parenting. However, it was never so tight where I didn't feel like I can talk to you because y'all were literally all I had to talk to because I didn't really make friends until like 9 years old.
Yeah, no, she really didn't make friends until Kristen came. And then Kristen became her best friend.
She gave birth to my best friend. So
I gave birth to her best friend. My youngest daughter is by far her best friend. Those two are thick as thieves. Because I put a rule on that. All y'all got.
So I just said that to say, you know, I think that could be sometimes where I feel like I can do it myself because I saw you do. I thought I saw you do things yourself. But when it came to changing rules and negotiation, it was nothing was ever up for negotiation.
Oh, no.
If y'all made a rule, y'all made a rule. So I think that's what I'm talking about, like speaking up. But to literally talk, y'all did let me talk about my day, and you know, it wasn't gonna change rules, but I can talk because
it was important to me. To know how their day went and to know how they feel.
To
know it was important.
So you knew my feelings. You were aware of my feelings.
I was always aware of both of their feelings. I kept up with their
I just want to make that clear.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, I did. I was trying to purpose to do that. Thank God it was accomplished.
No. And I kind of feel like when you are a certain age, you realize that your parents did the best they could.
In the capacity that we
and so even if it was some hiccups and some missteps, and even if you were affected advertently and inadvertently, just know that they did their best. And at 40, I can't walk around blaming you and Dad for life. It's up to me to make decisions. It's up to me to decide to heal, and it's up for me to change behaviors that I know is not conducive to being a decent human being. Right. So I feel like when you are an adult, you can't spend the rest of your life, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, because I realize as me growing up, if growing up was hard for me, I can only imagine growing up and being responsible for a whole human being. Yeah. And so I'm not gonna say I let my parents off the hook, but I saw them as humans and was like, okay, you did kind of do this, but you know what? And we've had those conversations. And I'm like, but I'm healing from it. And I know it wasn't on purpose. You know,
it still affected her.
Right. It still affects, but it's up to me at 40 to do something about it. Right. I can't just sit there and just make my parents my crutch for the rest of my life. I'm not that person.
And see, and I communicated with her that I had to do the same with my mom.
Yeah.
As she started getting older, and I started, doing her POA and stuff, and and things. I had to like let go of a lot of stuff that I'm like, this is my mama. She did the best she could.
Right.
She loved me. I know she loved me. She's loving me the only way she knew how. Once I let that go and just looked at my mom as my mom, I was able to facilitate her better.
Exactly.
I was able to understand her better. And guess what? She was better. She understood me better. And eventually, I'm getting teary because before she passed, she let me know that she saw me.
I love it.
And that's all I had wanted.
And you let me know that you see me. And here's the thing. All you can give somebody is your best.
That's all.
And this is why I love my mom and my dad, because they gave me their best.
Oh, look at
and some people can't say that. And so whatever, inadvertently, whatever, I know at the end the main idea is they did the best with what they have, with how they were raised and the information they had at 23 and up. They had me at 23. You know what I'm saying? So
what we was doing.
So I think that's the whole thing with relationships, period, is when somebody gives you your best, even if they fall short, all they can do is love you with the capacity that they can love you in. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's the main idea with relationships altogether.
It is.
Yeah.
Because even with my past marriages and my relationship that I'm no longer in, I can appreciate all of them because they love me to their capacity. It's not
it's up, it's up.
When it's up, it's up. It's not a point you don't love this person anymore.
Right.
It's just that you to your capacity. And it's not going to go any further when you to your capacity. It doesn't mean they didn't love you, and it doesn't mean you didn't love them. It's just that it wasn't, the capacities were different.
Now we're talking about heartaches and
heartaches and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of, but heartache and pain is a part of any type of relationship. When you feeling misunderstood, or when you feeling not heard, or when you feeling not seen, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend, whether it's a man-female relationship, or any a romantic relationship, there will come some heartaches and pains, because that's just a part of it all.
I love that. You're so poetic.
It's just a part of it.
Tell me more.
Oh my God. It's just a part of it. It's just how you recover from it. You can either lay down and stew in it and go no further, or either you can pray and work your way through and just go through the steps to get to the other side. It's a choice, half empty or half full, because heartaches and pain is going to come in this life. Fired from a job, any kind of relationship, life is relationship based. Your relationship with God, your relationship with each other. Everything is a relationship.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Your relationship with God,
even with yourself,
it's
ups and downs, because you let yourself down.
You let yourself down,
and you got to give yourself your best too.
You have to give
That's
yourself
a whole nother episode.
And you have to give yourself grace and mercy.
Exactly.
When you make mistakes, when you make the wrong decisions, when you make the wrong choices, when you go right when you should go left. Okay, you like it. You have to be able to give yourself grace and mercy, because you know what? God gives us all grace and mercy. So if God does that with us, why can't we do it with ourselves and each other?
I love that, allowing yourself to, yes, it's the vulnerability for me, because that, I feel like I admire that about Mom, because she never gets bitter. She stays open for love, open for new adventures, open for new opportunities, new relationships. She's vulnerable, and I love that.
Girl.
I love that. And when you start closing up and you kind of block that vulnerability, I feel like you're doing a disservice to yourself. Like, because now you're, once again, like you said, comparing one instance, environment, relationship, what have you, to the last.
And when you close yourself up, you begin to like die within yourself. You could be walking around, but you bitter and you're angry and upset. That's a death. That's a death of allowing yourself love, joy, happiness. You don't want to kill your own self.
It's like you the Walking Dead.
You're like you the Walking Dead, and you don't want to. Well, I don't want to be the person that walked through life emotionless and bitter because I got hurt. I mean, hey, I'm a person. That's gonna happen. And so you got to kind of like take the lesson learned or whatever and move on with the lessons learned. You know, y'all very vulnerable because I believe in love. I believe in love because you know what? God is love and God never gives up on us. So why do we give up on ourselves?
We're going to end there. You're so poetic. I love you, Mom. I love you for being vulnerable. And even when I come to you with the hard conversations,
they be hard sometimes.
You listen. Mm-hmm. And it ain't that I'm coming as an attack. It's like I'm this way because or this whatever. And I'm working on it. Be patient with me. And I love that we could both go to each other and say that. Look, and we both in therapy. So we're working on it.
Right. I'll be like, wait a minute now. You know we're in therapy. Okay.
I wanted to actually do a show about healing, but I don't know if you want to do a light topic or shooting the breeze next week. I will actually give you the choice.
Oh my God, you know what it's going to be. Shooting the breeze. So we can do healing because healing is very important.
I want to talk about what healing actually looks like because it's not all this sugary stuff that we see on social media.
It's ugly.
It's ugly, but it's specific to the person.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you want to get a little bit into that. I probably have a little video or a little article.
Yeah, we can do healing because healing really brings out your true self because a lot of times we be in denial of ourselves. And the only way to totally heal is you got to be honest with you about you.
That's true. But if you want to start a whole new show.
No, that's it, you guys.
You. Mama's like, we're going to talk about healing today.
Since you brought it up.
Anything
you got another 10 minutes now.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a deep one. We didn't really laugh too much in this one.
No, that's why we gonna do shoot the breeze.
This was serious. I'm all teary-eyed.
I know we over here crying.
I need a glass of wine after that. Jesus.
I know, right? I'm over here going, oh.
I know. I'm like, you gave me your best.
I'm like, I'm so happy. I just wanted to do my best for you.
I know you did your best, but and you did a great. I think you did a great job.
I mean, yeah. Look at
how
you.
I feel.
Yeah. You helping other people be their own cat. and I guess I did a good job helping you be your own cat.
Awesome. Thank you, cousin. I love your support and I love you so much. Yes, love you. So I wonder, is there anything else? You good?
I'm good.
Well, you could have, here's my thing. You could have been anywhere on a Wednesday night, but you decided to chill with me and Mommy, formerly known as Mommy. She don't want to be addressed as nothing else.
Mommy.
Until next time, don't forget to be your own kind. Bye.
Yes, bye.